This was next level. It was amazing. I feel absolutely different, physically, mentally, and spiritually. I was able to let go of so much limitation and fear and expand on an energetic level. I just feel so open and so aligned. And I've been able to let go and free up so much more potential. And so now that I've cleared that space out, I can tell that I'm going to be able to download, contain, and maintain a much more significant imprint in this world.
Yeah, let's hear it for Katie, everybody. Who wants to open up more space for your potential? I'll give an amen to that one. I'm there too. Say hello once you get here. Welcome, everybody. It is Wednesday. It is time for the 723 episode of Akashic Answers with Emily. And the records are now open. I am so happy you're here. First of all, let me just thank you for being here. And I'll show you. Had a little accident this weekend. Healing my wrist. Okay, so here's what I'm doing. If you break bones in your body, my suggestion, my recommendation, my encouragement to you, start talking to your cells immediately. My cells are healing. My cells are healed. All right. And I'm sure we're going to talk more about healing today as we go along. Welcome, everybody. My name is Emily Harrison. I'm the founder director here inside the Akashic Academy. If this is the first time we are meeting, my area of expertise is in the Akashic Records, which is the reason you are here. Let's talk about you, though. Welcome, by the way. I see Regina in the house. We got Conscious Shift in Parenting here. Right on. I'm so happy you guys are already lighting up my chat box here with some questions. Because if you are here today, whether you're joining me live, whether you're joining me on the replay, your higher self, your innate wisdom wants you to know about a technology called the Akashic Records because it is here to help you. These are BA. You know what I'm talking about. Y'all, if you are not familiar with the Akashic Records, this is the realm of consciousness that holds all information, past, present, all possible futures, and is recorded from a neutral perspective. It's also known as the Book of Life. It's known as superconscious intelligence. It's known as God mind. Okay. You might hear Dr. Joe Dispenza talking about the ether, this pervasive intelligence that is all around us. Yes. And when you learn how to have a relationship with this space, your life is going to get a whole lot easier. The Akashic Records hold an account of your soul's journey forward and backward through time. And when you learn to tap in and get instantaneous wisdom, guidance, and clarity from the perspective of your soul, from the perspective of God mind, you start to understand the things that are stumping you right now in your life. Okay? Literally everything starts to make sense. Before I found the Akashic Records, I was an actress in Hollywood. I was a young mom. On the outside, it looked like I had a really cool life. On the inside, y'all, I was crumbling. I had a pull between motherhood and a big career that I wanted that was very challenging for me to navigate. I had challenges in my marriage that I didn't know how to navigate. Furthermore, the more acting jobs I got, the more I was missing out on too. Definitely a numbers game when you're talking about auditioning for roles day in and day out. So it was really challenging and it wore on me. And I knew that there was more to life. I was depressed. I was taking depression medication. I felt really confused. And once I found the Akashic Records and I learned how to read my own records, freaking everything in my life started to make sense, including why I had chosen a career in Hollywood, what lessons my soul was coming to learn and to grow through. I understood my true purpose, my true mission here on the planet, which is to return the technology of the Akashic Records to y'all so that you can use it too, so that we can use it. If you are coming into this space, like I said, on the micro, it's because your soul, your higher self is inviting you to remember there's this powerful technology that's here to help you. Okay, I'm going to show you how it works. You're going to get a taste of how it works here today. Everybody gets healing and expansion in this space, so thank you for being here. I'm also going to show you how you can do this for yourself, because that's really important. All right, but let's talk about the bigger picture about why now the planet needs this technology of the Akashic Records. It's because we are undergoing a powerful and rapid evolution like never before here on the planet. Paradigms are shifting and changing. And we could very easily look at our outside world and say, yes, there's so much that needs to change about the outside world. Hello, Dodie. The bigger truth, though, is it's an inside game. It's an inside game of our paradigm shifts. We have the opportunity right now to move into right relationship with everything in our lives, from our money to our health to each other to the world around us. That's the evolution that we're experiencing right now. And there ain't no guru who can lead you through this. What is it? I'm not a guru, but I've played one on TV. Ha 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 ha. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. Self-leadership, and that's the beauty of the Akashic, is that it is a self-teaching, a self-learning technology and mechanism. My only job is to teach you how to use it. From that point on, it teaches you. And it teaches you everything that you've ever wanted to know. How I like to use it is helping people tap into their highest potential. Because again, here on this planet right now, we are in a portal of time, of the time-space continuum, of our evolutionary experience, where if you are incarnated in a human body right now on the planet, you have the opportunity to experience your highest potential in this lifetime. The highest potential of love that you can hold, of inspiration, of prosperity, of health. It is here and available for you. For me too. And it is unfolding right now, even though it looks like there's a lot of things shifting. And yes, that is happening too. They are happening simultaneously. All right. Again, why the Akashic Records can be so helpful, because this is a time where we are truly pioneering new ways of being here on the planet. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to jam for the next 35, 40 minutes or so in our Akashic Records. The Akashic Records work by invitation only. This means you ask questions, which you see that I have in the comments, giving you some ideas of questions. If you are here today and you're like, ooh, I want to ask a question, but I'm not sure what to ask, check out some of the comments here. And something might ping in your field of like, oh, I want to ask that question. Okay, and you'll see we've already got some questions rolling in here, which I love. And we're going to get rocking and rolling with our questions here in just a second. It's not only about the questions, though. Okay, it's also about the healing transmission that comes in. We will all receive an upgrade, a healing, an activation here today, which will help us embody more of our potential. This is a spiritual training classroom. So I also would like to invite you to notice as you come into this space, I'm setting a sacred intention, that as you come into this space, your vibrational frequency will raise. You will experience yourself and the world and your challenges from the perspective of unconditional love and zero judgment, which will give you a new perspective on them. It will give you new thoughts, new ideas, new energy. It will allow you to shift and change. Okay? This rapid evolution that I'm talking about here on the planet right now, where we're shifting all of these paradigms, that where we are moving into right relationship in our lives. Here's some fancy woo-woo quantum language for you. This is known as the 5D, or the fifth dimension. This is the divine blueprint for humanity, what our potential is. Right now, we're existing in a third dimensional reality. Okay? The 5D is where we're all holding the vibrational frequency of peace, love, and joy. That is the baseline frequency for humanity. And we are shifting and changing and evolving into the 5D, this higher frequency. Okay? All right, so we're going to dive into some questions here that will help us all as we are, if you are embodied here on the planet right now, you're part of this evolutionary shift. You're part of the bridge as you do the work of self-knowledge, of self-understanding, of self-mastery. You are indeed healing and shifting the entire planet. All right, so let's dive in right here. The conscious shift in parenting and living. I'm so happy you're here. Is there anything blocking me from moving forward with my idea for coaching and transformational workshops as planned? All right, so I'm going to tap in here for you. The first thing that I am noticing is that I've got a lot of buzzing here in the crown, like the frontal part of my body. All right, so that's my clairsentience, clear inner feeling. It's my body giving me feedback as I'm tuning in here. All right, so I'm going to go in deeper now and see what is there. All right, so the guides are going to take us all into our relationship with God and the God energy. Okay, and they're also going to invite a slight shift in the vocabulary around this question. And rather than saying, is anything blocking me from moving forward with my idea? We want to open up the energy around that a little bit, meaning, of course, there are going to be lessons that we learn and challenges in all of our endeavors. That's how we learn and grow. Right? How we frame the challenges is really shifting and changing right now. From feeling like, oh man, here is another challenge coming, to this is an opportunity to become more resourceful. We get excited about our challenges because we know that we're going to learn and grow through them. So that's one reframe that the guides are inviting as an up level that will support your experience moving forward. Conscious shifter. Okay, with this idea. And there is a lot of really powerful expansive energy that shifts the collective paradigm in these transformational workshops. Okay, so that's one thing to know, is that allow yourself to become very fluid in terms of embracing challenges and reframing them as opportunities to become more resourceful. Okay, that moves us from a state of being so solid. So think of states of matter, the guides are saying, from being solid to being liquid and flowing. And that would be another great metaphor for anybody who's moving forward into projects right now, which, by the way, the opportunities for our wildest dreams, these portals are open right now. I'm experiencing it myself. I will tell you a little bit more about it a little bit later in the show. But conscious shifter, I do feel like this is part of your life's work. This is legacy work. This is here to shift the planet. There are aspects of this that represent your wildest dreams coming true. Let me know if this is resonating with you. And one of the challenges is, because we're in the 3D and there is so much work to do, it can feel like we lose track with the 80,000 foot perspective and the remembrance of being present with the moment of, oh yeah, this is what I have been manifesting. This is what I have been creating. This is where my focus and energy has been, and it's materializing. Okay, and then back to the energy around our relationship with God. That's the energy. We could also call that the energy of the creator. I just got an energy of Fajing. Fajing is that feeling that you get before you yawn. Again, clairsentience is energy moving. So as I'm talking about the relationship with God energy and how we get to use our projects, these creative projects, that are in alignment with our legacy work, in alignment with our dreams. We get to explore our relationship with the God energy through these projects. All right. So the guides would like to offer for anybody who is, I don't know, I usually use my tuning fork. Let's see if I can, I don't know if I can do it. Yeah, there we go. All right. So we're going to be working up here in the crown chakra. Crown is where we process our relationship to God. And many of us have adopted patterns of programming around religion. If you want to release those, release all adopted programs that you have around religion, both terrestrially and non-terrestrially, so that you can explore a true relationship with the God energy through your own experience, under the divine guidance of Source, as Source reveals itself to us. You can say yes now. Okay, and this is also, there's a second part of this activation. It's a courage activation, courage to know the truth as it is revealed for your highest good and the highest good of everyone connected to you. This is part of the pathway prayer that comes from my mentor and teacher in the Akashic Records, Linda Howe. It makes sense, right? We need courage to know the truth as it is revealed for our highest good. So if you would like to receive the second half of that activation, the courage activation, you can say yes now and receive that activation in your solar plexus. Of course, we've got crown and solar plexus energy working. Good job. Take a nice deep breath in, everybody. Nice slow exhale. We're also going to call in the dragons to clear the path. And this is another thing that I know I said we weren't going to use the language around blockage. Right? And remember, dragons will remove any blockages from our space, from our path forward. So calling in the dragons now to assist and support, clearing the pathway as we step into and pursue with delight the pathways of highest potentiality that bring about collaboration, love, joy, peace, prosperity, plenty here on the planet. And so it is. Pronouncing victory over those timelines that we are all in pursuit of. You can say yes if you are receiving that anointment and transmission that's coming in today. Ooh, good stuff. That happens too sometimes for me in the Akashic Records when I'm dancing and playing out here with y'all. There'll just be I'll pick up on a transmission, spoken word transmission that will come through and shift some energy. It's channeling. It happens, you know. Okay, excellent. My conscious shifter saying, yep, totally makes sense. Fantastic. Yeah, you've switched to relationships and I'm feeling so aligned. Good. Excellent. M says, make every question into positive performance wisdom. Make every question into positive. Tell me more what you mean about that, M. I'm curious. Tell me more. All right. Speaking of questions, I'm going to go dig in here. Go digging in for some more questions because like Miss Dodie said, class is in session. Look at that picture of you too. Woo! Lady, you look great. All right. Let's see. All right. I'm looking for y'all's questions. Come on. Let's rock and roll. All right. Conscious shifter. I'm glad you're here today. Me and you. We're rocking and rolling. All right. You like the question, how can I bring ease, passion, and purpose into my work that is soul aligned? How can I bring ease, passion, and purpose into my work that's soul aligned? Okay. You like is okay. My conscious shifter. As soon as I tap back in again for you, so much clairsentience moving through my body, just waves of energy moving through. So yeah, what's up with your clairsentience? Let's dig a little bit deeper here and see why that is so strong in my field. My hunch would be one, it's either one of your strongest clairsenses, or that is a clue as to how you can bring more ease into your own processes is tapping into your psychic senses, your clairsenses, and just seeing what feels good. And that was the first thing that was really coming into my mind in terms of ease, passion, and purpose. We got to get in our feels for that one, because joy is the vibrational frequency that will guide us. That's the navigational frequency you want to shoot for. All right. So basically what you do is you get yourself all revved up feeling joy. Some of you got to fake it till you make it. That's okay. We're humans. We feel all the different colors of the rainbow, right? But when you are in a frequency of joy, then contemplate, how could this be? How could I make my work easier? And listen to what comes in. Okay. But you got to ask yourself from that state, and then trust yourself on what comes in and take action on it. All right. That makes sense? Joy is the navigational tool. So you get yourself all happy in a state of joy, and then you ask yourself these questions. How do I bring more ease to my work? How do I bring more passion to my work? How do I bring more purpose to my work? Okay. And then you got to act on it. The acting on it is really important, because otherwise it's just information. That's where we really embody the shift and the change. And that's where your timeline begins to shift. All right. Who wants me to talk a little bit more about timeline shifting? Anybody? Send some love, likes, hearts across the screen. We have multiple timelines available to us in any moment, and we can shift into those timelines. Again, one of the reasons I love using the Akashic Records is because we can shift into the timeline of our highest potential, where we are experiencing the most joy, the most fulfillment. Life is easy. That might be another way to answer your question too, conscious shifter. Again, how do you make it more easy? Shift into the timeline of your highest potential. All right, we'll do that. That's the kind of stuff we can do in the Akashic Records. I'm just going to make myself a note here, because I'm going to riff about it a little bit more, and then we'll do this process here together. Shift right here today in the sacred classroom into the timeline of your highest potential. This is also the reason I take people into Mount Shasta. Mount Shasta is the root chakra of the planet. So we adjust from our base. If you know about the chakras and the chakra system, we actually have a whole bunch of chakras in our body. But there are 7 main ones that move up a crystalline tube of light, our central column of light. And these chakra points are associated with different aspects of our reality. So the base chakra, or the root chakra, is associated with our feelings of safety and security here on the planet, our survival mode, who we are like at the base, the root. And people have been pilgrimaging to Mount Shasta for eons, because it is such a spiritual location, a mystical, magical location. In addition to being the root chakra, it's also an interdimensional gateway, meaning because of all the piezoelectric energy there on the mountain, it's a giant granite mountain. Piezoelectric energy comes from crystals, y'all. It's a whole bunch of it there. Not only does human consciousness raise and shift, so you see completely different possibilities, you activate your DNA, there also there are anomalies of opening up magnetic frequency, where we experience extraterrestrial activity, Sasquatch, the fairy, the Fae realm, the inner earth, Telos. There's a lot of really cool stuff that happens at Mount Shasta, the Ascended Masters. Okay. So I'm getting kind of excited, because our next Mount Shasta experience is coming up. It's happening in August. And I'm especially excited because I've shared with y'all that the portals for opening up our highest dreams are here. They're available, and that's definitely happening with me. We have a documentary film crew from Connect TV. What's up, Connect TV? Shout out to y'all. Coming to shoot a 5-part docuseries of the magical work we are doing on Mount Shasta, the healing, the expansion, the rapid acceleration of consciousness, and the mystical way that we are creating that. It's awesome. Super excited, as you can tell. And the overall goal of that experience is to take visionaries and thought leaders into this vortex and help them consciously use the energy that is available there to anchor in their timeline of highest potential, their mission here on the planet, so that they are existing in and walking within that timeline. All right. So we're using the vortex of the planet to help anchor that in. We're going to do it right here together today. But here's the challenge, is that as our vibrational frequency shifts and changes, so does like what timeline we're landing in. So just because, you shoot for your highest potential timeline here today doesn't mean that your ass is going to fall out of it next time you get super triggered, because you will. It requires mastery to hold your frequency in alignment to the timeline of your highest potential. You got to become patient. You got to become wise. You got to become compassionate. You got to become visionary. You got to transmute all of the parts of your hot little temper. And that work, that opportunity will present itself to you when you align to the timeline of your highest potential. Okay? Cool. So who's going to do this activation with me, aligning to the timeline of the highest potential? Ooh, my third eye is blinking like crazy in there. I got the fogging going on. All right, so I want you to sit up nice and straight, everybody. Imagine the crystalline tube of light that runs up and down your spine, anchoring you into the core of Mother Earth. And outside of this time-space continuum, into the Akashic, the ether, flow. Yes, flow gal Cindy. Get it, girl. Be with me. Let's do this. Okay. Setting the intention now to call up vibrational coherence in every cell of your body, aligning you to the timeline of your highest potential of peace, power, and prosperity here on the planet, your highest potential of service. And just take nice deep breaths as the consciousness that you're calling forward from the records right now, that's going to help you align to this, it's going to design to help bring up everything in your life that's not in alignment to this. It starts with subtraction, by the way. Okay, for this really to work, which, by the way, you have free will. You can opt out at any time, because the work will get challenging as you agree to release everything that is not in alignment with your highest potential, including ways that you see yourself, your own personal identity, including personal grievances that you're holding against self, against God, against others. All that stuff's coming up for negotiation, because you can't take it with you into the timeline of your highest potential. Okay? But for those of you who are ready to call it up, the guys are reminding, we already worked on the crown chakra, opening up and renegotiating our relationship with the God energy, with source energy. We also called forward courage from the solar plexus. Now we're working really in the root. Everybody focus into your root chakra, be breathing into your root chakra right now, giving it the directive to vibrate in alignment and coherence with the timeline of your highest potential. Good. Bring some relaxation into the body, a willingness, a commitment now to the best of your ability, work through with humility and self-love and support, asking for support from your guides. You need a supportive community around you as you do this work too. Stay close to the Akashic Academy, reach out, send me messages. Yeah, this work is no joke. Yes, but the opportunities will now arise for all of you who have received this activation today to see what is unseen about yourself, about your patterning, and also course correct. All right, and so it is. Ooh, good stuff, powerful. All right, let me know how you're feeling out there. And Mona, I see you, and I see this here about your brother. Okay. Hi, your brother is very sick. What is the lesson for me, and how can I contribute to a timeline where he will survive? Excellent. Okay. So the first thing is face and feel all negative emotions. Remember, everything is about vibrational frequency and about framing. And right now, the guides are saying there's an invitation to reframe what we think of as surviving. One, recognizing the eternal truth that we never die. And I think there's more in that for you, though, there, Anna Mona. It's around totally reframing what surviving is. And the guides are bringing up the root chakra work that we just did. Like for most people, this concept, the word survive, means survival mode. It doesn't necessarily mean that we are facing imminent transition or death. So definitely an invitation to re-examine survival mode, what survival is. The guys are saying right now that's part of the baseline frequency as we shift into the 5D of peace, love, and joy, is that becomes the baseline frequencies for survival mode. The guys are saying everybody needs to basically, like, they're saying, tell them to stop, drop, and roll right now, Emily, whoever is out there listening. Where is your survival mode set right now in your life? Meaning each one of us have created feedback loops with the universe where we are receiving whatever's on our minimum baseline frequency, and that needs to be up leveled, increasing the good that we can allow in our lives. Okay. So let's just call in that energy from the Akashic right now, that white light energy, helping us to increase the good that we can allow in our lives, increasing our baseline frequency of survival, increasing that threshold, increasing, bringing it up to a frequency of peace, love, and joy. Everybody hold that frequency. Raise your frequency, holding peace, love, and joy, vibrating every cell of your body to peace, love, and joy. Good. Send it into the grids now. Make it available for everyone on the planet. Excellent. Okay. All right. The next thing that the guides want to speak to Anna Mona is how do we best influence the future? Because the future does exist in infinite possibility until we actually experience it. That's why my mentor used to say, even the best psychic is only right 75% of the time. Hang on, I just messed this little hair up over here. I can't do my hair yet because of my arm. So I'm already kind of judging the hair today. All right, just get it back there. Okay. Back to how we influence the future, because the future does exist in infinite possibility until we actually experience it. So there's always wiggle room in the future. And knowing that, holding that frequency of truth, Anna Mona, is one thing that you can do. Also, recognizing that anytime that we're worried about somebody, it's like energetic voodoo. It's not good. So anytime that you notice yourself being seeing him as a victim, snapping out of that and sending him white light as soon as you can, and asking your guides to help you through this process, right? Holding a state of empowerment for him as he's here to learn, and trusting that his soul gets to learn and will learn all of the lessons that he's set himself up to learn. Also remembering just like the incredible value and healing of what's available in the now, and being present, happy, joyful, and appreciative of the now. Okay. I also, free will obviously is an important part of it, because everybody has free will, and blessing everybody's free will is awesome. Also recognizing that sound, the power of sound and vibration, is very powerful in terms of creation here on the planet. Whether you believe in the Big Bang, whether you believe God spoke the universe into existence, it comes from sound. So when I want to help and support others with healing through sound frequency, I will use my voice and say things like, I'm calling up so-and-so's perfect genetic blueprint of health, and so it is. And I also talk to my cells. My cells are healing. My cells are healed. My cells are healing. My cells are healed. Okay. So those are all things that you can do if you or someone that you love is moving through a physical dis-ease, and holding the frequency for the highest timeline. Now, the records have also been talking about self-healing and the steps that we need to go through in order to learn the lesson and release the energy and rewrite a new timeline. So go back to last week's episode. I talked about it last week and the week before. So you can find previous episodes on YouTube and learn more about what the Akashic Records say specifically, going through how to heal. Okay. I'm going to take just a moment here, and then I'm going to come back. I see that you've got blocked from the Akashic. Cool. We'll come back. And anybody else feel blocked from the Akashic, by the way? My experience is that every single person can get into it. I'll drag your ass in, teach you how to use it, whether you like it or not. No, just kidding. No, definitely. I mean, I have broken it down to make it very simple, and feel like if you are somebody out there who believes that you can learn, I definitely believe I can teach you. And yes, there are some people who feel like they can't get into the Akashic. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. In the meantime, I want to take just a moment to share with you all the 5-episode docuseries, The Mountain is Calling, that will document the sacred work happening on Mount Shasta, where we're taking visionaries and thought leaders into this sacred vortex to bring them through a process of rapid release of any energy that is not in alignment with their highest potential, and then take them through a very sacred and mystical initiation process on the mountain, where they are downloading light codes, activating their DNA, and aligning to the timeline of their highest potential. This experience involves not only the mystical and secret vortexes on the mountain, but also working with our extraterrestrial friends. We're also going into a secret pyramid on Mount Shasta, an exact replica of Giza, for activation. And so excited. So thank you all so much for those of you who have joined me along the way, along the ride, to hold space as this comes to fruition. I'm super excited. And I'll also share, we do have limited sponsorship opportunities for product placement in the series. So if you have a business or a wellness product and you want to know more about this experience, reach out to me. Send me an email, emily@theakashicacademy.com. We can hop on a call and talk more about that. All right, and coming on back to you, removing the questions on blockages that may put up more blocks. Turn the question to a positive. Yep, there you go. There are no blocks, only blessing and wisdom that need to be acknowledged. And this turns things into, there's a little bit more there, but yes, you are 100% correct about that. The blocks are truly only seen through the Maya, through the illusion. From the higher perspectives, they don't even exist. And reframing them there from the very beginning helps, again, to free up the energy. Think from moving from a solid to a liquid to a gas state. Okay. Excuse me there. All right, guys, we have time for one more question, one more process here together today. Who wants to be the one to ask it? Let's go. Mrs. Nicholas is here. It's good to see you. All right. Oh, Em, cool. Here's a question. Great. Oh, yes, the blockage of the Akashic. Duh. All right. I went back to the wrong one. I'm noticing right now. All right. M said, I could have asked why I have been blocked from my Akash. Or I can and prefer to ask, what is the lesson and blessing of not getting into them? And I am thankful that I have the power to turn the page. Yes. Amen. That is something that we all should know that comes with free will, is that regardless of what we've experienced or what we've chosen for ourselves in the past, what we've chosen for ourselves to experience, we can choose differently right now. Right? Part of that activation that we did, and I'm holding my hand up here because I'm referencing the crown chakra and our relationship with the God energy, where we cleared all adopted contracts around that. Will definitely open up and increase access, because some of us take on contracts to not tap into the higher spaces of woo-woo and our psychic powers, because modern day religion has warned us that, you know, that psychic stuff, that witch stuff, the Ouija board, and all of these things are tools. They're all tools. But I was definitely interested in that stuff. Growing up in the Midwest, in the Bible Belt, a bit of a spiritual rebel, I was definitely excited. I liked being in church. I liked hanging out in that space. Not all of it. I mean, of course, I got bored, and y'all know I was a rebel. If you've been hanging, if you've hung out here anytime, you've heard my stories. All right. And I was also really curious about. I loved. What's the one where you go into the closet with your cousins? Not the closet, but like or you take like a mirror into a dark closet, or you go into your bathroom and you close the door and you shut all the lights off, and it's Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. You look into the mirror and weird stuff happens. Yes, like I was really interested in what else is happening out there in the subdimensional layers of reality. I didn't have the vocabulary for it, but I definitely had an interest. And my religious upbringing said that was a no-no. So if you're programmed with good girl syndrome, good boy syndrome, which so many of us are, we might call that people pleasing. You might create that blockage for yourself where you feel like you just can't tap in because you have an alliance subconsciously to religion that says that's not okay or you're not safe. And here's the good news, we've worked on all of those chakras today. The crown chakra, which is the relationship with God, where you get to fully rewrite and experience your own relationship with the higher realms. Yeah, and we cleared the root chakra around feeling safe doing that. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else coming in around blockage. That's the main reason, honestly, that I see that people get blocked, is that they've taken on subconscious vows or contracts that that's not okay or that's not good or they won't be safe if they're doing that. And I will just share with everybody, and when you work with me, I do this in my work, very simply calling the light to you and intending that the light is around you and that you are guided will protect you as you are moving through, again, the realms of the subdimensional layers of reality and the higher realms of reality require a self-teaching mechanism for you to maneuver in those dimensions of reality safely. So the Akashic Records become your ability to reconnect into divine wisdom so that you can, maneuver safely. You can activate that self-teaching mechanism. It's pretty cool. All right, Mesa-ware, take two. How can you release recurring thought patterns? How do we release recurring thought patterns? All right. So first of all, we've got to isolate the pattern and understand what the pattern is. And also, it's really helpful to understand what triggers that thought pattern. Okay. So when you recognize what the pattern is, and then you trace it back one more step and say, all right, what triggered me to get thinking about this? You want to create self-care and protection around the triggers to the best of your ability. So that looks like, if it's responsible to avoid the triggers, but avoidance isn't always the best option. Okay, does that make sense? Responsible avoidance. That means don't steal yourself into drama that you don't need to be in. That is responsible avoidance. Somebody type responsible avoidance in the comments. Okay, not the same thing as ignoring whatever. All right, so we're diving into how do we release recurring thought patterns. Step one is you've got to identify the pattern. That's what the guides are saying. Or I'm sorry, identify what the thought is. And then identify what triggered you, like what got you to that point. And then you either need to avoid the drama. Thank you. Responsible avoidance. That means avoiding the drama. Or handle the triggers that are creating the pattern. Okay. So the guides gave us, there's the little work you got to do in the now. You got to find what the thought is. Then you got to go back up a little ways into your past, figure out how you got there. Set up a different plan for yourself. Like you're going to have to take some action. In order to figure out what the action is, you've got to take this backup step. Type yes if this is making sense. And then you also have to go a little step into the future there. And you have to say, all right, what thought pattern serves me better? So that you can install that one. Because what happens with our thought patterns is they ingrain in our minds, in our neural pathways, like the Grand effing Canyon, y'all. And they start to think themselves almost on autopilot. So it's, you got to be patient with yourself as you're rewriting these patterns. All right, because gravity is fierce. You got to be patient with yourself as you learn to overcome the gravity. All right, so you've got to figure out what thought pattern is going to support you better. And just ask yourself, okay, I'm noticing that I've got a recurring thought pattern here where I'm saying to myself, I'm so stressed because of XYZ. I'm so stressed because of XYZ. I'm so stressed. Woo, okay, we want to release that recurring thought pattern. Okay, first of all, let's back up, right? We found, actually, I guess first of all is finding the pattern. Oh, I want to release that. Then we're going to back up. All right, what caused me to go into this mode right here? What triggered it? If what triggered it was you got into a fight with, you got into drama with, someone in your family or someone close to you or someone that you work with, you got to up-level that stuff right there, y'all. All right? Up-level yourself so you don't get entangled in those kind of conflicts and dramas. All right? No petty dramas. however, you find that what triggered you, what got you into this thought pattern of I'm so stressed about X, Y, or Z was the fact that you didn't pay a bill. Pay the bill. Bless your finances. Arigato money. Happy money. Thank your money. Ken Honda. Right? How many of you are rewriting patterns around your finances and your financial wealth? You want to handle it right then and then say, all right, what thought pattern is going to serve me better? Rather than I am stressed, so stressed about X, Y, Z, you know, that one's not good. Best ones are to jump into our I am statements, proclaim your wealth. I am wealthy. I am abundant. I am supported by the universe. Okay. Those are good ones. Some of y'all are going to have trouble actually believing that. And so I learned this fancy little trick from my friend Roz. I love you out there, Roz. Roz says, do you believe that you can learn? You might not be there right now. Rosalind Fung, do you believe that you can learn? So if the best I am statement you can do is, I am learning to feel wealthy, and I am learning to trust that the universe supports me, do that one. Okay? Awesome. Very good tutorial there from the Akashic Records today on how to rewrite thought patterns. Let me know if that was helpful for y'all. I hope you took some notes and are going to use that process now as it comes up. For those of you who are ready for a deeper dive into learning to read your own Akashic Records, you're ready to activate your own ability to self-heal, you're ready to clear yourself and your family of ancestral trauma, you're ready to understand your purpose and mission here on the planet. The Akashic Records are your tool that will bring you into a state of mastery. And for those of you who would like to talk to me more about that, I am going to share a link here with you. I just popped off of my page here. Let me grab it. There we go. I want to invite you into a 30-minute discovery call. Again, this is for those of you who are ready to talk about training in your Akashic Records. I look forward to taking you through a process of questions that will help both of us understand what you were looking at. What is your highest potential in this life? That's why I love to use the Akashic Records. Let's figure out what yours is and where your life is not aligned to that, because it's all about just subtraction, moving those things out of the way so that you can move into alignment. And the Akashic Records might be the very piece of technology that your higher self is wanting you to pay attention to, so you can break through the areas of previous limitation in your own life and tap into your own unique creative genius. All right. This has personally helped me quintuple my income, move from a state of poverty in my life to being in a state of abundance. It's helped my clients heal from autoimmune diseases that kept them sequestered, locked in their house for 30 years, to being able to go out in the sun in sandals and shorts, and also helping my clients tap into their unique legacy projects that they get to create here on the planet, like reverse engineering the timeline of the planet where we reduce emissions here and save our environment. All right. That's some of the cool things that my clients in the Akashic Records work on. All right. So if this sounds like it's going to be a tool that's going to benefit you if you're a visionary and a thought leader, I look forward to seeing you on my schedule this week. For the rest of you guys, I will see you back here again next week. I love you all. Be well. Be safe out there.
Is greater cosmic mystery calling you? The mystery of your highest potential? But responsibility, stress, and EMF are distorting your vision. And the scariest thing is, during our depleted state, it's so easy to give up, to give in, and stay small. There's good news. At the Akashic Academy, we've dedicated ourselves to recovering wisdom that will help quantum visionaries thought leaders and difference makers thrive in the face of change. This August, come join me and the Ascended Masters in Mount Shasta for the Akashic Alchemy Immersion.
Why I went to Shasta. The Akashic Academy immersion at Mount Shasta represented a way for me to be able to work directly with Emily Harrison and a group of people like me that are looking at deepening both their wisdom and their intuition. The fact that Shasta is a mountain that's sacred to the indigenous people of North America and that it is known to have magnetic energy vortexes, that added to the mystery and the attraction of participating in the immersion. And what has happened since I got back from Shasta? I have been writing more, I have been writing better, and I've focused on developing more skills to coach effectively and empathetically. My intuition's improved. My focus on living a life of good health and acting on what is possible when I play big on my life's purposes has made life all that much more rewarding.
Why I went to Mount Shasta. I knew Shasta would be life-changing because of the potent energy there. I just needed to find the right tribe to go with. When I was in Shasta, I experienced unconditional love from within. I've built a whole company. I landed a TEDx talk. I have the ability to manifest at the drop of a hat because I tapped into the highest frequency in the vortex.